If you are living in America right now, look closely at your last bank statement, because a quiet, desperate exodus is happening right under your nose. Thousands of normal, middle-class citizens who did everything right, went to college, got the corporate job, made a good salary, are packing up their entire lives and permanently fleeing the United States. Not for a vacation, but because simply existing in America has become a financial death sentence. Here is the dark, mathematical reality forcing regular people to abandon the American dream just to survive. Welcome to Capital Chris. If you're tired of the generic finance advice that tells you to just stop buying lattes while the actual system around you is burning, you're in the right place. We look at the raw truth behind money, power, and human psychology. If you value honest breakdowns like this, take a brief moment to politely hit that subscribe button below. It helps us build this community together, and I truly appreciate having you here. Let's look at the real math. For almost a century, the global script was simple. If you made it to America, or if you were lucky enough to be born there, you won the geographic lottery. Hard work equaled safety. Safety equaled a home, a family, and a retirement. But over the last few years, that script didn't just change. It was completely shredded. Today, the United States has transitioned from a society that rewards ambition into a highly engineered economic trap designed to extract every single penny from your pocket before you even realize it's gone. To understand why people are leaving, we have to look at the psychological weight of what it costs just to stay alive in a modern American city. Let's simulate a standard middle-class life. Imagine you work an intense 50-hour week. You bring home a respectable six-figure salary, let's say $80,000 or $90,000 a year after taxes. That breaks down to roughly $5,000 to $6,000 hitting your bank account every single month. On paper, to the rest of the world, you are rich. You are in the top percentage of global earners. But watch how fast the system drains you. The average monthly rent for a standard, unglamorous apartment in a major U.S. metro area has climbed past $1,800. If you want a safe neighborhood or a short commute, make that $2,200. Next is transport. In America, you cannot survive without a car. Between a standard auto loan payment, soaring insurance premiums, and gas sitting at historic highs, you are looking at an easy $800 a month just to keep four wheels turning. Then comes the silent killer, healthcare. Even with corporate insurance, the average American deductibles and monthly premiums siphon another $500 to $600 out of your paycheck. Now walk into a grocery store. Feeding a family of 2 or 3 with basic, healthy ingredients is now averaging over $1,000 a month. Do the math. Before you buy a single cup of coffee, before you take your partner out to dinner, and before you buy a single piece of clothing, your balance is at zero. You are running on a financial treadmill at maximum speed, sweating, burning out, just to stay in the exact same place. This is where the psychological trauma sets in. Human beings are incredibly resilient when they are working toward a goal. If you know that sacrificing today means you can buy a home tomorrow, your brain secretes dopamine. You feel motivated. You push through the long hours. But what happens when the goalpost is permanently removed? The median home price in the United States has soared to nearly $500,000. Mortgage interest rates are stubbornly locked in a painful range. For a young professional, looking at those numbers creates a condition psychologists call learned helplessness. Your brain realizes that no matter how many hours of overtime you put in, you will never save enough for a down payment because the market is moving faster than your wages. This has triggered a massive wave of what experts call financial nihilism, or doom spending. Millions of young Americans have looked at the broken system and thought, if I can never buy a house anyway, why am I saving? Why am I sacrificing my youth for a future that doesn't exist? They cope by spending their remaining cash on instant gratification, luxury concerts, expensive clothing, traveling to festivals. They are medicating their economic anxiety with consumption. But a highly intelligent subset of the population is choosing a completely different, radical escape hatch. They are realizing that if they can't change the rules of the American game, they need to change the stadium entirely. This brings us to the core of the exodus. Thousands of remote workers, software engineers, creatives, and early retirees are realizing a profound truth. Wealth is not determined by the number on your paycheck. Wealth is determined by the gap between your income and your cost of living. It is the geographic arbitrage play. Think about the psychological relief. If you take an American salary of $6,000 a month and try to live in Austin or Los Angeles, you are stressed, scraping by, and one medical emergency away from bankruptcy. But if you take that exact same $6,000 and move to a cultural hub in Spain, a quiet beach town in Mexico, or a high-tech suburb in Southeast Asia, the entire dynamic flips. Suddenly, your luxury, two-bedroom apartment costs $800. High-quality fresh groceries cost $300 for the entire month. Universal, world-class healthcare is $50 instead of $600. For the first time in their adult lives, these expatriates are experiencing something they never had in America: breathing room. They are moving because they love their sanity. They are trading the toxic, relentless pressure of American hustle culture for a life where they can actually wake up, drink a coffee, and look at the sky without calculating how many dollars they are losing per minute. So, what is the ultimate lesson here for you, regardless of where you live in the world? The lesson is that the global economy has entered an era of deep psychological manipulation. Corporations and institutions want you to believe that status is measured by how much you consume, how expensive your lease is, and what logo is on the front of your car. They want you trapped on the treadmill because a trapped worker is predictable. A trapped worker doesn't quit their corporate job. The people who are fleeing the US have discovered the ultimate financial secret weapon. True wealth is not about owning luxury items. True wealth is the absolute ownership of your time. If your lifestyle requires you to sell every waking hour of your life just to service your debts and pay your rent, you aren't successful. You are just a highly compensated inmate in a golden cage. To survive the coming years, you have to break the traditional script. You have to aggressively protect the gap between what you earn and what you spend. You must stop playing the consumer game to impress people who don't care about you, and start investing in assets that buy back your freedom, whether that means moving across the world or simply cutting your expenses to the absolute bone right where you are. Thank you for watching this deep dive on Capital Chris. If this video gave you a perspective you haven't heard before, please hit the like button and leave a comment below with your thoughts on the current cost of living. And if you haven't yet, consider subscribing to join our journey toward true financial sovereignty. Take care of your mind, protect your capital, and I will see you in the next video.